the media and the civil society hammer this thing that members of parliament in Kenya are among the highest paid. Two things if you read that thing. I want to tell you that before this new constitution, our members of parliament agreeably were earning very highly. I can tell you the 9th and 10th parliament, my brother, was earning in untaxed funding over 1.5 million. And that one you'll confirm. And that is why I started by agreeing that there was a good reason as to why we established SRC and we will not interfere with that, mandate. Where we disagree is where the salary which MPs were earning then is still being used to measure their earning today. I want to tell you, Ken, that the members of parliament in Kenya are, to me, earning the lowest pay as compared to any parliament in the world. And I want to tell you how. When you see things like the parliament of India there, and your governance people, when you go to New Delhi, you will get a residence for all MPs. You use at the end of your term, you leave it. So that what is being compared to between the member of parliament in India to a member of parliament in Kenya, for instance, is what the member of parliament in India is getting in terms of entertainment allowance. When we established SRC under this new constitution, I can tell you from the salary which was being earned in the 9th, 10th parliament, the current parliament earns barely 10% of it, several years later. And let me clarify this thing. This is why sometimes we are going up. People have been, informed about so much that members of parliament are earning. Ken, today I want to tell you, and you can confirm it, if you desire to. The basic pay of a Kenyan member of parliament, gazetted in 2013, was 316,000. With an annual increment of 10%, today it is 346,000. That is what I earn in basic pay. These are the things you are being told members of parliament are earning, are things associated with the travel of a member of parliament. And let me soberly tell you my position. When we went to parliament in the 11th parliament in 2013, Mark, which was the first parliament under this new constitution, we said, we do not want those things you call car grant. We do not want those things you are calling mileage. By the way, MPs in Nairobi don't get mileage. So the idea that you have things like mileage is, brooding an inequality between members of parliament. Because mileage is paid as a reimbursement for your travel from Nairobi to your constituency and back. And remember, a member of parliament, we like them, we don't like them, are running, two offices, one in the constituency, one in Nairobi. And then we told SRC, we do not want these things you call motor vehicle maintenance allowance. I remember in a Kamkunji we had, I told SRC, even if it is a Toyota Corolla or a Vitz or a Pulka, if it can be organized, all I want to do is to operate between Homa Bay Town constituency and Nairobi. If there is a way in which Parliamentary Service Commission, in my view, can even say there is a bus to transport people, like tomorrow, I will be going to Homa Bay for a function to return on Thursday for a budget reading. Just ask how many people are following the route I'll be following from Nairobi, Narok, which MPs are being dropped, and tell them when they can be picked. I have no problem with that. But it is this same SRC you are defending, which said we will subsidize the cost of your car. And then when these things are put on pay, Ken, and this is why I'm being emotional, instead of giving me transportation, you reimburse my travel. Then you portray to Kenyans that these are remuneration. How can they be? Why don't we as Kenyans, in terms of seeking solution, just say that this mileage is too much, motor vehicle maintenance, which is being treated as remuneration, which it is not, is too much. These things you're calling car maintenance.
It's a benefit, not a remuneration.
You take them out. You get what I mean? Give me a car as small as a Vitz, but don't give me these things in reimbursement and lie to the people of Kenya. They are my remuneration.
No, they are a benefit.
Yes, and by the way, no, pardon me. there is a problem at SRC. I just beg. Huh?
Can we talk about
Ken,
the problem
if you
at
look
SRC,
at the judiciary,
I'm going to talk about it.
If you look at the judiciary, just on this transport.
Yes.
I'm telling you, and that is why I'm begging.
Okay.
Let us look at the public sector generally. There is a way in which we are being, directed to Parliament when we should be looking at things globally.
We will come to that.
Ken, when you go to the entire executive,
we'll talk about it.
No, I'm talking on transport.
Okay, just briefly on that because we'll come back to it.
When you go to the executive, everybody, including an assistant chief, has a means of transport. How many times have you reported here magistrates being hit by vehicles crossing Mombasa Road from work? You jail people, you walk with their relatives to work. There is a way in which SRC has been captured by the executive to subdue Parliament and the judiciary.
Okay.
And Kenyans are being directed, Parliament, judiciary. You are not looking at inequality.
I'm going to come to that because these are the concerns that Parliament
Yes.
has raised also in terms of inequality and how SRC looks at other departments. Mark.
The day Kenya will find a solution is the day joining politics is not a business plan.
Exactly.
The day joining politics is not a means to wealth is the day this country will start finding reprieve within itself. Because the fact is, and let's be very clear, for me there's no difference between 300,000 and 600,000. Because the average Kenyan listening to me today cannot imagine how it feels like to put 300,000 shillings in his pocket. In fact, he cannot imagine how it feels like to go sit down at his job and do his job, and every time he sits down, he's given a sitting allowance. He cannot imagine that. The truth of the matter is this, and let's be clear, whether it is Parliament, it is CSs, it is governors, it is people with 3 cars on the road instead of 1, the truth is that our leadership in this country has been given too much money and they're now insulated from the realities they must deal with. And that is the core issue. The core issue is not JSC, PSC, and all of those things. Secondly, on independence, you cannot say PSC is independent from Parliament in as much as you can say GSC is independent from the judiciary. Its job is to represent Parliament. Its job is to represent parliamentarians. So we can surmise correctly so that GSC and PSC push the agenda of parliamentarians. And that said, we cannot then remove blame from them when they receive packs which they claim they do not want. If they were serious, let them sit down as leaders and say, as Parliament, we are passing a resolution today that we do not want these car grants. We do not want our clandays to be on our medical cover. If that I'm going to come to
you. Can please allow me? I will not be a party to a debate where you
respond after you have finished.
Where you abuse an institution of governance. I mean, if what are these clandays? Where are you getting them from?
Everything I have said.
We are very serious people.
Say second wife.
And polygamy is lawful in Kenya.
Yes, so let's say second wife, right? Second wife.
You have to. Why should
second wife on their health insurance. All of those things.
Yes.
If parliamentarians are serious about the austerity measures the president talked about,
they should declare.
About
but he said,
he
said himself that they have denied part of the budget meant for Parliament themselves.
No, but
he said that.
But
he said
listen,
that. Yes.
The issue that we are raising here is that whether you've denied an extra excess, there is still excess we are talking about here. That's the issue.
Budget of Parliament last year.
Okay. The total about 150
what was appropriated to Parliament.
Okay.
And what was appropriated to the judiciary. The judiciary got nearly half.
Okay.
Yes.
Of what Parliament got. Yet the judiciary has 8,000
contribute.
8,000 workers. And Parliament only has 1,000
That's
workers.
okay. Let me. I wanted to ask Mark this question, but I'll ask you this question too. When we cut the budget, we are not vindictive. I want you to respond to that. He said that when they cut the budget of SRC, because that's what I said. No. I want her to speak.
You'll assist me if there is need to later. So the cutting of the budget for me is a very deliberate attack on SRC. The timing first is very suspect. Secondly, also, if you look at the decision of the court that it relied on in quashing the 2017 Gazette notice, the court was very clear that according to them, Salaries and Remuneration Commission had not done the quality of public participation that was required in reviewing and evaluating the worth of the job of the state officers, which we all know, in our opinion, and all of us know the worth. No. So when you cut their budget, are you not deliberately then setting them up for the same issue that the court pointed out, that because they did not have resources, they were unable to conduct public participation to that level. Quality. But yes, quality. But I do not hold brief for SRC, but what we are telling the House, whether you cut that salary or not, we shall get resources to work in solidarity with our agents to evaluate and ensure that the reasoning behind the court when they quash that Gazette notice does not arise again. Secondly, allow me first, I've already answered what Mijungu was mentioning, but my question is, why do we then make reference to countries like India when we are looking at our pay structure? Our GDPs are quite different, so why don't we then look relatively to how much we have? No. Our reality is that we have a budget of 3-point-something trillion. We can only manage to get this and this amount, so we already have a deficit. So how are we spending our resources?
And that is what is in 300.
And look at the Constitution, and it says the principle of public finance management is to ensure that you inculcate equity and ensure that there is equality. So what does it give? Using our public finances to give 250 to another entity, and you're looking at 13,000 for a taxpayer.
Responsibility.
And also,
does it count? The responsibility, does it count?
The responsibility?
Because you're comparing two different people altogether.
No. Look at our reality. Whether it's responsibility, what work are they doing? And they had paying taxpayer who wakes up. But let me not get into that. No, allow me, Kaluma, to finish first. Second issue we are mentioning, Parliamentary Service Commission. So our position is that it is an institution, and we are talking about what is their mandate. I, as a taxpayer, my position is that PSC has to take individual responsibility per commissioner. Because why did they allow that? Our law says that if you oversight or you oversee a process of waste of public resources, then you are personally, yes. So that is that. Just wait. So that we are not assuming. We know that they did not go by the process.
You are not the judge over the matter. Let us not discuss.
Allow me my time. My position is not that they abuse, or my position is that it is an unconstitutional act.
And that is why you are not the judge.
Wait, yes, that is. But let me tell you one thing.
My position is different.
There is the court, we have the court, and again, we have our court of public opinion, and we know what it is. There is the law, but even as the law reads right now, my understanding is that PSC overstepped its mandate. So that is one. We are coming for them individually. Secondly, also,
good luck.
Yes, we know the law is on our side, so I really don't think we need the luck. So mine is just to say, let us look at Article 2265 that talks about personal liability, and let institutions understand that the moment you're in a commission, it is past the commission itself, but we are now going after personal liability. And let us be alive to our reality. Look at our GDP, and let us not compare things that we do not understand. India. Let us look at our reality, our minimum wage, our debt level, our recurrent levels.
Okay.
I only wish our parliament could react as quickly when people are dying in Baringo of hunger. I only wish our parliament was so sensitive to the issues that affect the common mwananchi that they would run in panic and have kamkunjis to discuss the chagrin and the pain that Kenyans experience every day.
Okay.
That's the only shift that we need.
You don't think they do that?
They don't.
You don't think they do that? Okay.
Not in Kenya.
Yeah. My brother here has applied to be a member of parliament, I don't know how many times.
Once, 2007.
He has not been elected. You may try and be a member of parliament next time if you believe there is anything much other than service people have an opportunity to do there. But I'm telling you,
to be a member of parliament
in fact, that is why you are not elected, because you imagine of leaders things they don't know. The request I want to make, and I think this is the idea of information we are going into. When you look at the national budget, I can tell you on recurrent expenditure, just as the judiciary, the total budget of both parliament and the judiciary is not even 1% of the national budget.
It's actually 1.79.
I'm talking of the recurrent.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pay. what I want to clarify,
Recurrent cannot hit 1 point.
it can't.
Percent, 1.7%.
Percentage of the total budget, it cannot.
You see,
it cannot.
now,
Recurrent.
this is the problem I have.
Recurrent would probably
Up
development.
to today,
Guys,
Nyamuamua was budgeting.
0.7. Make your point.
What, no. Don't go that direction.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm telling you that there is a bigger picture to look at. You are focused on two institutions, which I've told you are barely, surviving. You are not asking, now that it is 1% going to Parliament and the judiciary, where is the 90-something, point something
Going.
Going?
And you think-
And that should be the focus.
The executive.
And that is why I'm telling you, there is a good reason, my sisters and brothers, as to why the people of Kenya said there will be Parliamentary Service Commission and there will be Judicial Service Commission. You've never had an Executive Service Commission. But the functions of the Judicial Service Commission, the Parliamentary Service Commission, have nothing to do with what PSC, Public Service Commission, does. The people of Kenya were sending a message, Ken, a governance message, that if you leave the judiciary and Parliament without an independent commission to protect them, there will be a problem from the executive. The problem we now have is that these institutions are underfunded, and yet the media and all Kenyans who do not care to look at information are being told all your money. By the way, you may think when you listen to this debate,
Who's underfunding?
you may be forgiven to think, you may be forgiven to think that Parliament is running some bank within
That's a
it
question
there.
for you.
We don't do that. I'm informing
Budgets.
Okay. But
I'm
who does
informing
budget?
you.
Who does the
Now,
budget approve?
I wanted to address
Answer the question,
the cutting of the budget of SRC.
Before then, just
No.
before
Answer
then,
the
before
question.
then, tell
Who
us
is underfunding
yes,
the
the
Judicial
budget.
Service Commission
Commission
and who is
and
underfunding the Parliamentary Service Commission?
The problem we have in Kenya, just to bring understanding on the matters budget. Now, keep quiet. By the time the budget lines, and it is in law, are coming to Parliament, sectors of government have been put together, they have bargained. That happens outside the treasury there. I can tell you, Ken, by the time that matter is coming to Parliament, Parliament has very limited range. And these are the things we need to look at. You talked about reducing the pay of SRC. If we were unfair as members of Parliament or vindictive, we would have interfered with their salary, we would have interfered with their, their remuneration. They have all that. The things we did away with, Ken, in helping SRC and all Kenyans to stop wastage. You remember there was a complaint before that the current commissioners went in and forgot about the cars the previous commissioners were using. And without appropriation and a budget by Parliament, decided to use all 100 and something million to buy cars. Now, when you then bring a budget, Ken, where you are claiming cars again, what do I do with it? Are you saying I should not, as a responsible member of Parliament, say this is unnecessary because when I do that, I'm being vindictive? Let me tell you, if that is the thinking of any Kenyan, there is no way the Parliament, the current Parliament, will be intimidated in the discharge of its constitutional mandate.
What of the timing we should
No, we don't care about timing when we are doing our work.
No, you should care about timing because of perception.
No.
Because of perception.
Let me tell you, Ken.
Because that's what we think right now.
Let me tell you, Ken.
Because they did that.
You can have your perceptions, but budgeting is at particular times. And I will not approach it wrongly, because there is some imaginary timing of vindictiveness to SRC. If SRC is claiming due money to enable them perform their functions, and I invite you to read Article 249. Parliament is obligated to adequately fund all commissions to discharge their duty. So that if Parliament were to hamper the work of a commission, that commission would go to a dispute resolution mechanism and it will be upheld.
Okay.
Let us not just think of evil in the leaders.
Yeah,
okay.
You.
Full stop.
Thank you.
So, and Nyamuamua wants me to complete. Nyamamu, go and run and be elected.
No, you see,
And I'll tell you why
I will
you
not
can't
respond
be
to
elected.
personal.
Yes, sir.
Those are personal things. I don't respond to those. We came here to represent the people of Kenya, and we are not.
No, you don't. I'm the one who represents the people of Kenya on this table.
No, you represent the people of Homa Bay.